Hey guys, I'm Sean McAnally.
John Hall.
Hey guys, last week we talked a little bit about inflammation, and we talked about how chronic inflammation causes big problems. And on the reverse of that, taking NSAIDs, such as naproxen sodium or ibuprofen, something like that, that is not good either. Trying to combat that chronic inflammation with an anti-inflammatory is really not what we want to do. What we want to do today is talk about some of the foods that we eat that can help support homeostasis, as Dr. Hall would say. And sometimes he gets it confused with hemostasis, but that's just a word he made up. But anyways, help support that homeostasis, if you will, that where the body is where it wants to be. When it has inflammation, when it needs it, but that inflammation can go away whenever it's no longer needed for a healing process. And that's what we want to talk about. Dr. Hall, what are some of the foods that we eat every day that cause inflammation? And what are some of the foods, chronic inflammation, should I say? What are some of the foods that can help the body to really see what needs to happen and get rid of that chronic inflammation?
Well, the really good tasting stuff, as we all know, are the foods that are generally bad for us. So, refined, sugars, anything that's really sweet, eating all those desserts, they're really sweet with lots of sugar, refined flours, so grains and things like that, oils.
Refined oils,
refined. There's good oils, but there's always good and there's always bad.
Right.
And those are pro-inflammatory. It's not that they're by themselves cause it, but they're pro-inflammatory. They contribute to chronic inflammation, and it makes it chronic because we like eating that stuff every day. And so really it's pretty simple general rule. If it tastes really good and you just really crave it, as a general rule, probably not good for you. And one of the things it's going to do is contribute to inflammation, chronic inflammation. On the other hand, the foods that are really good for us, that are help the body control inflammation and they tend to be bitter, bitter. A lot of them are bitter. So the cruciferous vegetables, and so green vegetables and the cruciferous vegetables, and there are good meats. There are meats, oily fish, and all of that are good for you. But really, the fruits and vegetables, and the ones that aren't real sweet. There are some. Natural fruit sugar is okay, but there are some fruits that are sweeter than others, and those are the ones you want to tend to stay away from. Just the ones that aren't quite so sweet, but still really nice.
The ones that have been over modified to be overly sweet.
Yeah, So, but anyway, just there are a lot of but bitter. I would just say bitter is better.
Yeah.
So the foods that tend to have the bitter flavor, the nutrients, and that we've taken them out of our society, basically, the the producers and all that, we don't buy them because we don't like them. And so they're not on there. It's kind of hard to find them on the market, but there are things that we can eat.
Well, I remember 30 years ago, my grandmother out in West Texas had an apple tree in her backyard, and that apple was tart.
Yeah.
It wasn't sweet. It's hard to find a tart apple in the store now. Most of them are just overly sweet. But it was good. It was something we liked. It's like we've been programmed to have an overly sweet addiction, and then we want it sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. I know I used to drink soft drinks a lot, and I quit because I thought, man, that's not good for me. So what I did was I stopped, and then one day I was craving. I was like, man, I'd really love to have a soft drink. When I drank that thing, it was too sweet.
Yeah,
I couldn't handle it. I had gotten unused to that overabundance of sweetness. So it's definitely something to it.
And other foods, they're like blueberries that are antioxidants, because oxidative stress and inflammation are linked. When we have chronic oxidative stress, excessive reactive oxygen species, that contributes to inflammation too. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. But anyway, the fruits, especially that we think of, the blueberries, the strawberries, and some of the others that have an antioxidant effect, also are going to help with inflammation too. So, I mean, and
Good.
so there are foods that are good tasting
Right.
that can be good for you. But you really want to concentrate on those that aren't all that great tasting, but they're so important for us.
Good. Well, so what I gather from this is we want to focus on the more natural foods. We want to kind of stay away from those foods that have been processed, had a bunch of added sugar and stuff like that. And that will kind of help our body to get what it needs to modulate, if you will, that inflammation process through healing that we naturally go through. Guys, we hope that this has helped you. And next week, I don't know what we'll be talking about yet, but I promise you it's going to be beneficial. I'm Sean McNally,
John Hall.
and we'll talk to you soon.